friends, and welcome back to Low Luxury, and welcome back to the series, The Rick Owens Rotation. And you know, this day had to come. It had to come eventually. If you're collecting Rick Owens, this day is going to come, because today we're looking at a single piece. This series will look at anywhere from 1, 2, 3 Rick Owens pieces that I am adding to my collection, to my rotation. And today we have probably the most important Rick Owens piece for anyone's collection, as it has been since this silhouette was first released. And this is a pair of shoes. You're probably getting where I'm going now. This is a pair of Rick Owens GEOBASKET sneakers. Oof, I've been waiting a long time for some of these, and we're gonna check out all the little details. I'll tell you every little piece of them. We're gonna get a good close look, and then we're also gonna try them on, tell you how they feel, how they fit, all that good stuff. So let's dive in. Yo, before we get too much further, subscribe to the channel. I make tons of luxury and streetwear content, and also if you're looking for deals on luxury and streetwear, check the description. I've got some of the best sites with all authentic stuff. Check it out. All right, so let's just spend a tiny bit of time here on the box. Right in the center here, we have the Rick Owens script logo in white, and then around it, it is a textured kind of dust gray. You can see the texture kind of in there in the cardboard. It's a nice sizable box. It's heavy. These things are real heavy. And the lip of this comes all the way down to this side. So this lifts all the way off. And without further ado, let's get these open. Dust bag. And Rick Owens, actually, he doesn't really do dust bags necessarily. He does tote bags. And they're really nice, like felted cotton, I'm assuming. You can see the kind of like fuzziness to that. It's a little bit fleecy, if you know what I mean. And then embroidered in there, in again that darker gray color, once again that script logo. And I love these bags so much because it's legitimately a very usable tote. Most brands' dust bags, you never use them. They sit in the box. I don't know. I have other ways to keep my shoes dust-free. So getting a really nice, sizable tote, and this thing's big. Like, I could use this. I could go out in the world with this. So it's actually very functional and helpful. But now that that's out of the way, we got the good stuff. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes, you guys. And here's actually where I'm going to tell you that this is an older pair. This is not like a brand new season model because, listen, it's not like the OG Dunks, right? With the opposite, the kind of swoosh ripoff. This is somewhat after that. But what I really like about these is that the slightly older GeoBaskets, they look a bit more authentic, if that makes sense. Like an authentic Nike bootleg, but luxury, if that makes any sense to you. The new ones, they're just a little bit too clean, and these have a bit more edge to them, which I really like. And when you first get these out of the box, the first thing you really notice here is that they are tall. They're actually a lot taller than they look in pictures, and of course that tongue even more so. So this size, it kind of sneaks up on you. You don't realize how big they're going to be until you've actually got them in your hands. Like, that's my hand up against it. These things are hefty in terms of their height. You'll also note a classic Rick Owens-ism in his shoes, and that is the shape of this sole. Look at how that flips up right there. Most sneakers from the big brands, they're always going to lay flat right against the ground, whereas Rick Owens, at the toe, it flips up right there. And that's just another one of those kind of pieces of authenticity that I love about Rick Owens sneakers, is that this is a very classic shape that you get when you are hand making leather sneakers or shoes of any kind. It's a very classic shape. People like to, like, whenever I see Rick Owens shoes posted on Instagram or something, all these comments are like, clown shoes. But I mean, I guess I get it in a way. It is kind of a clown shoe type of thing. That's how we think of it now. But it is much more real. It feels less factory made. It feels more handmade. And I, of course, respect that. So now let's look at these details here. We'll start with the upper. And right off the bat, you can kind of see what I'm already talking about how these older ones feel a bit more real. you can see differences in the grain of the leather from piece to piece. Like, it's a bit more like made from scraps. It feels, I don't know, it feels more real. I just can't say it in any way other than that. But it's really, really high quality leather. You can just tell by looking at it and feeling it. It's got a nice oiled sheen to it as well. And you can see here that I've got like a black and milk colorway, pretty much as classic as it gets. You got a really nice swoop going along the lace closure here, all the way up to the top. And then of course, this shape is iconic right here. This is what they kind of replaced the rip-off swoosh with. It's more of like an A-frame, if that makes sense. And then moving around to the vamp, it has a real upturn to it. Like, boop, you can see it right there. And it's nice and rounded. It's a really, really unique shape for the vamp that you don't generally see on like basketball style sneakers. And you've got a nice extra little piece of leather here, perforations of course all over the vamp. And then you get to the inside of the shoe where you again have that A-frame, but this time it is separated by a zipper right here. Classic metal silver zipper. And this actually, let's take a look at the inside to see what kind of zipper this is. Because more recently, this has become a Rick Owens branded zipper, but generally on the older stuff, he was using different brands. And yep, that is exactly what I expected. That is a Riccogni Italy zipper, which is the one he used most commonly before they started becoming Rick Owens branded. And then you get around the back of the shoe, and of course, you've got another one of the most iconic parts here, which is this kind of like quilted, padded area around the back of the heel. So you've got 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are padded. This fourth one is not, but it is still kind of a piece of leather here. And then all the pieces come together right at the back with this little seam right here. And then I think we've got to talk about this sole. So stitched around all sides over here. It's not just cemented on, so these should last way, way longer than your average pair of Nike Jordans or whatever. And it is nice and thick, this midsole, because it's got 2 layers here. There's this upper one, and then you get a little bit of a lip from the molding that comes out, and then a bit more down here. And of course, another iconic piece of Rick Owens shoes is you get the kind of like shark teeth at the bottom. So these are little kind of triangles where the point is coming backwards. When we look inside, that's just throughout the whole thing, but a bit more towards the back, pressed in there, we get the Rick Owens script logo again. So I'll just turn this around, focus up, and there you have it, right in that one fin there, fit perfectly centered. And finally, we can't leave here without talking about this tongue, because of course we do, right? It's iconic. So, where to even begin? Leather, really beautiful leather. You've got this kind of ribbed piece of cotton that's really cleanly stitched down, even with this stitch in the leather underneath. Then you get this square right here, and that's for the label on the other side. And all of this is padded, kind of squishy in there. And then when we look at it from the back, this pull tab comes back around here, and it's got this stitch right there. And then we get our label, which is an outline right there. It's like a polyester tag, screen printed it looks like, cleanly stitched down on all 4 sides. Moving along the inside of the shoe, we do have a little counter here that hides the zipper, so that's not bugging you in any way, shape, or form. One side of it is the leather, and then the inside is suede, as you can see. And then it's still the black leather going around the inside of the shoe here. Of course, this piece was made in Italy. This is a size 43, and we'll talk about sizing shortly. And then you can see that the tongue, it's got a little bit of leather that comes out here, and it's stitched down to the inside of the shoe. So it is all one piece once it gets to about this top lace hole right there. And then finally, the insole does not come out, but you can see it is in black, kind of, I'm guessing that's pleather. Let me actually feel that for a second. No, I think I'm totally lying. That also feels like legitimate leather, which is not something you pretty much ever see. And pressed into that is finally that Rick Owens script logo right there. All right, now that we've looked at all of those details, it is time to try these shoes on. All right. First off, If you start seeing cat feet underneath my door here, don't be too startled. They just really don't like it when I lock them out to do videos. But that is besides the point. Let's talk about these GEOBASKETs. And I want to start by talking about just putting them on. Because with high tops, I always have a lot of issues putting them on. I hate having to unlace multiple lace holes just to get sneakers on and off every single time I wear them. It makes me not want to wear them. And that's why I'm glad to say that the zipper on the sides of these makes it really, really easy to get them on and off. Of course, with these extra long laces, you're going to have to unlace them every time or undo your knot, but at least you're not going to need to undo actual laces and redo it every time like you have to do with some high top sneakers. Now let's talk about sizing. So as you saw, this is a European size 43, which generally translates to a US men's size 10. And I'm going to say that these fit a little bit roomy, maybe about a half size big. So I wouldn't say these are a true to size 10, more like a true to size 10.5. However, the upside to that is that Rick Owens does, for a lot of sneakers, make half sizes. So he'll make a 42.5, 43.5. So if you are a full size, I would suggest trying to find that half size down. And then what about the feel? Of course, that's super important. Again, high tops, sometimes they can kind of dig into you at the calf, down at the ankle, wherever it's given the most pressure. But thankfully, that is not the case here. It opens up nice and wide at the top. You can see it, the quilting in the back. It gives more and more space each time, so it actually really opens up to your calf in a nice way. It's not the cushiest insole though, I will say. It does feel pretty hard underneath, but down at the back of the heel, there is some pretty good cushioning, and that curve of the sole does wonders here. You get a really nice full strike without creasing the vamp. That is always what I appreciate about any shoes that actually have a curved sole, is it's going to make the leather on these hold up for much longer. It's never fun seeing leather sneakers with really ugly creasing at the vamp, and that's really not going to happen here, which is awesome. And now the final question, why did I choose to add these to my Rick Owens collection? Why are these going in the rotation? Well, I don't even really think I have to answer that question for you. It should be pretty self-explanatory. These are probably the single most important shoes, the most important piece, period, that Rick Owens has maybe ever made. They're probably the most instantly eye-catching and recognizable thing he has ever made. Like, anybody that knows anything about sneakers or fashion in general will probably recognize a pair of GEOBASKETs, and that's for good reason. They're really cool, and while they are kind of a Nike ripoff, or that's of course how they started, they have much more to them that makes them worthy in their own right, and I think that's why they're so incredibly popular. So those are, of course, the Rick Owens GEOBASKETs. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.